Good morning and welcome to Quick Check Math. Quick Check Math is one of the NeuroNet family of programs that address fluency in the basic skills of handwriting, alphabet knowledge, reading decoding, reading comprehension, and math fluency, math facts retrieval. And we find that when kids have fluency in all of these areas, their entire academic progress improves. So Quick Check Math Facts is from NeuroNet Learning, and you can find it on the StepUp to Learn platform. And if you have questions, you can send an email to me at nancy@neuronetlearning.com. I would like to introduce today Sergio, who is my partner in learning for today's webinar. And we're going to work through the Quick Check Math program together using the online StepUp program. Sergio, tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Sergio Sanchez. I'm located in Miami. My wife and I, Leslie, we have a learning center. We work with children who are having a hard time learning to read through the conventional, school methods. We've been doing that she's been doing it about for 12 years. I joined her about 5 years ago. And we enjoy working with a lot of the kids, and we found NeuroNet to be extremely helpful in various ways.
Okay. All righty. So NeuroNet gives us a new way to look at learning. The three goals that I have for this work are permanent progress, measurable progress, and meaningful progress. And what do I mean when I say that? Permanent progress is the ability to learn and remember. One of the things that was most frustrating to me in my early life as a teacher was the children who could learn and forget. It wasn't that they couldn't learn, but the next day it was like, let me check my notes. Did we actually do this yesterday? Even though they got to the point where they seemed like they knew it, something was missing. There was something that I was missing in my ability to help them make permanent progress. And there was a clear difference between the kids who could make permanent progress and the kids who would learn and forget. And so I started looking for ways to solve this problem. And along the way, I started thinking a lot about timing and fluency. My background as an audiologist is something where timing is important in many ways. In all of auditory processing, timing is very important. So I started thinking about fluency and just the larger concept of fluency. And so now measurable progress for me is the ability to measure fluency. Fluency is speed plus accuracy. And we have to have both. Too slow, you can't finish your work even if you're accurate. Too fast, you can finish your work, but you're not accurate. Either way, it's not going to get you to the level of academic learning that you need to achieve. Meaningful progress means learning behaviors. How does a child think of himself as a learner? How do we help him become a partner in learning? And specifically, there's always a parent with me when I'm working with a child. And we talk about the learning behaviors of the child, the ability to make a sustained effort, the ability to learn from your mistakes, the ability to take initiative, and the ability to choose challenge. Those four things are very important to me, and it's helpful for parents to see them as concrete behaviors that they can actually work on. For example, sustained effort. When we look at kids in school who quit and give up easily, what can they do for sustained effort? In my house, the laundry room is at one end of the house, and the kids' bedrooms were at the other end. And having to carry the laundry basket from one end of the house to the other was sustained effort. Having to set the table for dinner for all the people, for all the things you need, those things are sustained effort. So when we talk about sustained effort, we're not talking about something that only happens in academics. We're talking about something that should be happening in daily living every day. And these things give parents a chance to help kids work on this in a meaningful and successful way. The ability to learn from your mistakes is the difference between problem solving and guessing. Problem solving means you bring your own knowledge to the table. You think about what the answer could be, not just what you know. The ability to take initiative, the ability to tell yourself to move, to think, to participate, to be a partner in learning, and the ability to choose challenge. Choosing challenge means saying, well, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to get it all right. There's so much value in doing this or learning this that I'm willing to take on the challenge, even though it's not going to be easy. Okay, so here's a little child who's going to show us at the age of 8 months how to become a partner in learning. Oh, what happened? Oh, no. Oops, oh, sorry. I was trying to get it to stop exactly at that point of, let's see if I can find it, that point of head control, where, okay. That little moment, do you see that way, the posture of the head right there, where the child approaches the spoon with that little tipping up the head? Whenever you see that, you need to think of a child copying from the blackboard. That is the little movement gesture that they need to bring themselves into that blackboard as a partner in learning. Do you see that? This kind of learning, being a partner in learning, starts very early in life. It's not something that we're only looking for from school-age children.
He was actively participating in the feeding process.
That's right, actively participating in the feeding process. And you notice that when she looked around, she still had the visual awareness of where the spoon was and made herself look back. That's right. That's right. And so that kind of partnership in learning is really enhanced when we use any kind of rhythmic movement, whether it's whole body movement or whether it's writing. Rhythm helps children become partners in learning. So measurable progress means focus on fluency, and speed plus accuracy equals fluency. Why does fluency matter? In the research, we see that they talk about overlearning. Overlearning means practicing something after the skill has been mastered. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you did. You did the quick check math evaluation, and the children had trouble with like the next number.
Yep.
And so what did you do with the adding page at the end, and why did you do it?
So we had two of the participants, a 9-year-old and 8-year-old, who had trouble with next number before, and especially just gave up on add 2. So we did that, and I left me in doubt. Do they know? Can they out?
Can they really do it?
Can they add 2? So at the end, I called each one back separately, and I had a sheet there with 1 plus 2, 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 2, and had them go ahead and do it. And they could do it. What I noticed was it took them, it was the timing they couldn't do.
Yeah.
So each problem took them about, depending on the child, it was 2 to 4 seconds to get through each problem.
Right.
So it's the timing issue. And the panic that ensued, they came over them once they missed one, or they were starting to get behind. Total panic, drop the pencil, I can't do it.
Yeah, right. So the thing I love about quick check math is it solves that problem. Yeah. So the research on overlearning is very important and very helpful for us from a NeuroNet point of view. this article, anybody who's interested, I'm more than happy to send you that information. Just send Nancy@neuronetlearning.com and I will answer you back. Okay. You're probably all familiar with this little saying, for one of a nail, a shoe was lost. For one of a shoe, a horse was lost. For one of a horse, a leader was lost. For one of a leader, a battle was lost. And all on account of a nail. Milliseconds in the brain, milliseconds are the things that matter. Without the milliseconds, without the small number of milliseconds, we don't have fluency. Milliseconds make the difference between fluent and not fluent. And milliseconds, having the fast processing speed, means that a child can see beyond letters or numbers. They can see patterns in letters and patterns in number. And so you can see from what Serge was doing with his students, they could see number, but they couldn't see pattern because their processing speed was not fast enough, was not fluent enough. So in the brain, we know the research tells us neurons that fire together wire together. So the beginning of that processing speed is when multiple things happen in different brain areas at the same time. And these different events become wired together to make neural networks or neural ensembles. And this is how we speed up our processing. Only neurons that fire together will create and then strengthen a neural network. So neurons that fire together wire together. More neurons in the network equals more fluency. And in my office, I teach the kids to say, muscle power is brain power. Okay? Serge, we're going to do this together. Muscle power is brain power. One more time. Muscle power is brain power. Now you do it.
Muscle power is, muscle power is brain power.
You got it. Do it 2 more times.
Muscle power is brain power. Muscle power is brain power.
Okay, and you see how your influency improves with practice? Yes, on something like that. And I teach the kids to say that. I always want them to be thinking about their brain. Own their brain, use their brain, know that they have brain power, and know that learning is brain food. So measurable progress, focus on fluency, math facts retrieval. So we're looking at speed and accuracy are the 2 essentials of fluency, and we have to have both.
2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8, 4, 1, 7, 6, 2, 6, 5, 3, 6, 1, 4, 8, 9, stop.
Okay, so what we see there, this child is in 1st grade and she's struggling with math, even with math tutoring. And on this page, she's only listening to the numbers between 1 and 9. And even with those simple numbers, she's really struggling to keep up. And then we did the quick check math for about 3 months, and here's where she got to.
You ready? Go. 12, 11, 6, 5, 3, 2, 21, 29, 8, 26, 18, 17, 23, 20, 16, 15, 10, 9, 4,
So what do you see? What's the difference?
Improvement. The fluency was faster.
Yes, right. And the number set was
Oh,
1 to 26.
yeah, larger numbers.
Right, much larger numbers. So I was very pleased that she was able to move up all those number sets.
Yeah, and she was able to recover.
Yes.
You like see where she set a pause. She didn't panic and say, "I can't do it." In her mind, she was able to just recover and keep going.
Right. A child who can recover and keep going practices a lot more than a child who gives up and quits. And so that's one of the big, huge advantages. When kids can skip and keep going, suddenly they're doing more productive work. Get your brain to practice what you want your brain to learn. They're doing it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit now about the Quick Check Math program. In this program, the kids are going to say and write the number. And then they're going to say and write the number in a circle. They're going to say and write the next number, say and write the number before, and add to and write the answer. And I found that if a child can do these basic things at a fluent speed, then they can move up to larger number sets and larger number operations and still be able to see patterns in math and make permanent progress and become independent learners. Those are our goals. This is a very interesting example of a child who had a random number dictation track. The child is 10, and he had to simply listen, draw a circle as he listened, and then write the number in the middle of the circle. And so we can see that he quickly got lost and couldn't keep up with the circles at all, and that his handwriting, therefore, is going to be interfering with whatever he is doing with numbers. And this was an audio track that said, that said 2, 6, 3. So as he heard the number 2, he had to draw the circle, and then he had to say and write the number 2 in the circle. Same thing with the number 6, 3, etc. And you can see the difficulty that he had with that. And so
what I experienced with that yesterday with the child was, with two of the children, is that they could not, the timing was off.
Yeah.
So they couldn't, they had to listen and not, they couldn't write at the same time they were listening.
Yeah.
They listened, they heard it, and they tried to write the circle and do the number at this, in that little bit of time which was just allocated for the number.
Right.
Right. So that was that skill that they couldn't, they couldn't do.
If they
write and
they can't hear the number while they're drawing the circle, they're in trouble. From an auditory processing point of view, there's not enough fluency to support the next level of learning. They can get some of the task, but there is not enough fluency to support that next level of learning.
Without that timing, they just gave up after.
Yeah.
Especially after one of them gave up almost right away. The other one after the after the, because we were doing track 1, which starts out with
right, 9
in
a row, yeah.
9 in a row.
Right.
And after that, the sequence of numbers and then went to random numbers.
That was the end of it, right. Okay. So yeah, this is a Neuronet kid, and so he knew how to make himself keep going without getting overly. He could see it as a challenge, not as a threat. He was able to finish the page. But interestingly enough, right after this page, I went to something easier, where he actually had to hear the number and write the circle as he heard the number, and then say and write the number inside the circle. But this time the numbers are in order. So the track is saying 1, 2, and he's got to do 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So he's hearing the number and then saying and writing the number.
A little less brain power.
A little less brain power, that's right.
Predict what the next number is.
That's right. And what these things clearly show is that there is a huge hidden cost to handwriting that is not fluent in math.
Yes.
And the same is true for reading decoding, and the same is true for reading comprehension. Yeah. So building fluency in all of these areas can change all of a child's learning behaviors. So when handwriting is not fluent, it will undermine math skills. Children who cannot manage spacing and alignment, that's number and circle, spacing alignment of written numbers, will always struggle with math fluency. Once you get past 9, once you have 2-digit numbers, spacing is a part of the name of the number. And if you don't know how to use spacing as a tool for naming that number, you're going to have trouble with higher numbers.
Four, four, five, five, six, six, seven, five. Okay? Say right the next number. Okay. And a 1, and a 2,
He's already written the 3, yeah.
2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 5, 3, 8, 4, 1, 7, 2, 6, 9, 3, 6, 1, 4, 8, 9, stop. Oh, that is an excellent score. You were able to know that it was hard. Wow.
All right, so this was a child who, this was the first time he's tried this. It's just a little assessment of number and circle, next number. And I chose to show this one because it really shows this was the point at which he could not even get half right. At that point, I'm going to stop the assessment because I know number before and add 2 are a lot harder than next number. And I'm just going to move on to the next thing because I never want a child to have to keep struggling so much that he thinks he never wants to see this again. I want to find a way for him to experience success.
Oh, all right. And a 1, and a 2, and a ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 5, 3, 8, 4, 1, 7, 2, 6, 9, 3, 6, 1, 4, 8, 9. Wow, you ended on the last number. Yes, yes.
All right. And I really like that because it shows he has just done say and write the next number, and he really struggles to say and write the next number. But now that he doesn't have to do the handwriting, look how much he got right. And he was able to keep himself going. Even though he made a couple of mistakes, he was able to skip and keep going without giving up. And so when we work on Quick Check Math, we do a movement warm-up before we do the written exercise. And that movement warm-up is going to help every child do better on that written exercise. Okay, muscle power equals brain power. So let's try it. Okay, we're going to do a few of these movement warm-ups, and what I'm expecting you all to do is to stand up, and Sergio is going to do the first 10 beats or 10 numbers, and you're going to do it along with him. And then you're going to know how to do these movement warm-ups with your kids. There are 4 very simple patterns. Okay, Serge? They'll just be able to see some of you. Yeah. Here, put the chair on the other side. Okay. And they'll see me too, so.
1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 4.
Okay, there you go.
3.
Okay, yeah, good. Okay. Oh, this is the next one. So just imagine that Sergio's doing the walking here.
1, 2, 3,
2 foot, 2 foot, nice match.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 4.
Okay, so you see how those movement warm-ups work.
6.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 4.
You got it. You see it. Okay,
Good.
right.
And 1, and 2, and you're ready. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 4.
Okay, there we go. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Promised myself I was going to practice those for the next time. But actually, I use the first one I've been using with the kids.
Yeah, right.
And it's really, you'd be surprised how difficult it is just for that one.
Yeah.
To be done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was really thrilled with a little boy who struggled with the writing the next number when he was able to do it with the movement warm-up, because that movement warm-up is going to push that into the written exercise. So all of those little movement warm-ups, I call them floor exercises, because you do not need any equipment to be able to do them. You don't need a stool or anything. I use a lot of stools. I love working with stools. But those little movement warm-ups are something you can do anytime, anywhere. And when you first teach them to the kids, you can teach them just as a naming pattern for the movement. Swing, arms, clap, clap, swing, arms, clap, clap, swing, arms, clap, clap. And on the walking one, shoe, foot, shoe, foot, shoe, foot, shoe, foot. You'll see there are children who cannot go shoe, foot. They will go shoe, foot, foot, shoe, shoe, foot. And unless you have one shoe on and one bare foot, they do not even see. They have no idea that their feet are not going left, right, left, right, left, right. But left, right practice is very good for the brain. So every day there are 2 math exercises in Quick Check Math that the children will do. And for each exercise, they do a movement warm-up, the written exercise, and check your work with the answer key. So altogether, movement warm-up is about a minute, written exercise is about a minute, check your work is about a minute. So you're looking at 6 minutes altogether to transform math. Okay? And the math operations included, as we said, the number in circle, next number, number before, and add to. And there are different audio tracks to prevent memorization. Audio track number 1, the numbers are in order from 1 to 9, and then the rest of the numbers in the 20 number set are random. Audio track 2 and audio track 3, the first 5 numbers are in order. And so all of these tracks give children's confidence a boost because of the number sequence at the beginning. They get started by doing it right, and then they can keep going more easily. From audio track 4 on, all of the numbers are in random order. And we keep changing the sequence so that children cannot memorize and do this just from memory. So exercise 1, movement warm-up, written exercise, check your work. Exercise 2, movement warm-up, written exercise, check your work, equals 6 minutes of daily practice, and we're looking for 4 days a week. And when you go to the software, when you go to StepUp to Learn and you sign up for the Quick Check Math trial, you'll see that this is your daily practice. So the children are going to hear the track, and they have to say and write the answer. And they have printed their own, where did I? You know, I should have laid it out. I had it somewhere. Just a copy of that. This is not it. The daily practice page. You'll see here that they print that daily practice page, and that's what they use to do it. And they're going to download the worksheets. It says daily practice page. And then they're going to do what they need to do. So now we're going to go to the online software and take a look at it. So this is a good time to take a 2-minute break if you want to, while I switch my computer from the PowerPoint to the software. Okay, this is the point at which I'm not so sure.
Okay, we're still sharing.
Okay. If you want to minimize that, hit the yellow button and it'll just park itself in the corner. Oh, yeah, log in. It should be already. It should have saved my. Okay. All right, we're good. I hope you're back. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, how do I grab this here? Yeah, put it over there. Perfect. Okay. All right, so here we have, starting on day 1, a little tutorial, which I'm going to play right now. Oh.
Welcome to Quick Check Math. Before starting, please print the daily practice page for each student using the Get Worksheets link below. Students listen to the audio prompts and fill in the grid using a blue pen. When completed, students self-check their answers using a red pen. Then color in the stars matching the goals they met, and rate how challenging the activity was.
And a 1, and a 2, and a ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 4, 3, 6, 7, 5, 3, 1, 4, 8, 9,
So what you really notice is the confidence
Yes.
with which he does this. It was a big factor for him. The confidence was great.
Now use the answer key to check your work. Give yourself a check for each matching answer.
So he knows he has to use the red pen.
1. Check. 2. Check.
And what I love is the happiness in his voice.
Check.
Yes.
4. Check.
Yeah. And this is why you start slow with this program.
Check.
You want that child to store up happiness.
Check.
You want him to,
And in the last box,
and then filling in his
go
stars
to get at least 12 matching answers.
and understanding that concept that
Go 3, get at least 16 matching answers.
Kids really like doing that.
Yeah.
They're
Goal
like
4,
doing
get
themselves.
all 20 matching answers. Goal 5, get all 20 matching answers in the box.
Okay?
And a 1, and a 2, and a ready.
Oh, no.
Go.
There you go. I moved my little icons here, and now I can't see. There we go. Okay. So then after that tutorial, it's going to go right into the first exercise on the program. And you'll see over here, it says number. So that's where you're going to hear the number, then say and write the number you hear. And if you look right here where it says get worksheets, it's going to give you 2 choices. This is the daily practice page. And later on, there's going to be numbers in circles, and we have a daily practice page for numbers in circle. So the child is going to start on day 1, look at the tutorial, know what he has to do the number, check his work, and then do the next exercise, say and write the number, and check his work. And that's the end of day 1. And then day 2 is going to be the same as day 1, and day 3, day 4. And this is how we get children to really take initiative and be engaged. They come to this and they're predicting success. And so on day 5, the track is going to change. Instead of being numbers 1 to 9, and then the remaining 11 numbers are random, it's going to be the numbers 2 to 6, and then the rest of the numbers are random. So now he's moving up to having to deal with more random numbers.
We were talking about that earlier, the importance of the child building up the confidence.
Yes.
and knowing, believing that they can do it. So
Yeah.
starting out easy before moving into
Yes. And being able to not push the panic button.
Right.
Being able to work through it, skip and keep going, and actually practice learning, because the number of repetitions that you do is the number of repetitions that you store in your brain for future reference. So that's the only way you're going to improve, is by practice. Okay, so now let's go up to day 9. So there we have a big change, and we see that there's a tutorial. Oh, how to do number in circle. Thank you.
And a 1, and a 2, and a ready. Go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 3, 8, 4.
Okay, so you don't need to see more of that, but you need to know that that tutorial is there that you can show the kids. You'll notice on the model that I showed you earlier, I just turned the paper over and I model the first 6 or 7 on the back of the page, so that I just do it right in front of the child. But you can do it either way. You can use this little tutorial to show them. I used a Sharpie marker here, so you'd have a clearer view of what I was doing. But I tell the kids that the Sharpie marker is only for the video and that they need to do it with a regular pen. And so now on day 9, they're going to do number in circle, check your work, number in circle, and check your work. And then day 10, day 11, et cetera, all the way up to day 16 is the end of level 1. So day 17 is going to start all over again with day 1. Level 2, day 1 is next number. So here what we see is they have to hear the number, then say and write the next number. And again, I'm going to do a model of the first 6 or 7 on the back of the page if they are not familiar with it. But by day 2, they know what next number is. But the modeling is a way to help kids feel more confident. So I would say continue the modeling as needed if you're doing it one-on-one. And in a group, I think you could just orally practice. Okay, I'll say 5 and you say the next number. Bobby, I say 5, you say, okay, Sergio, I say 7, you say
8.
I say 2, you say
3.
I say 9, you say
10.
I say 4, you say
5.
Okay, you got it. All right. So that's next number, check your work, next number, and check your work. All right. The next milestone I want to tell you about goes all the way up to level.
We have more than one child that usually use a whiteboard.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, to use that for example.
Just
okay.
To give.
Oh, so yeah, the next milestone there is level 3. On level 3, the new concept is number before. So you're going to see here, hear the number, then say and write the number before. So you have to say and write, okay, Sergio, if I say 7, you say
6.
If I say 9, you say
8.
If I say 2, you say
1.
If I say 5, you say
4.
If I say 1, you say
0.
It's good to practice at 0.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I had one child yesterday tell me 0 is not.
Really?
I had to explain to him.
Yeah, 0 actually is a number, a very important number. Okay, so on level 3, you see how this is moving along now? We've gotten to number in circle, next number, and number before. Now, on level 4, we have a consolidation process. Here is where you are really becoming a mathematician. Oh wait, no, I wrote that down wrong, sorry. So, okay, number 4 is add 2. And then you're going to, on level 5, you're going to start doing mix and match. In other words, you're going to have to do number before and next number on the same day. Next number and number before on the same day. Number and number before on the same day. Next number and number on the same day. You've got to be able to take all of those basic things, number, next number, number before, and add 2, and do them mix and match, where you're doing 2 different number operations on the same day. Because a lot of times what we don't think about is in math, the multitasking always requires calculation and number operation. You must know in your brain at the same time, what's the calculation and what number operation am I doing? And so when you do 2 number operations back to back, it means for each one, the child has got to be able to track on what is that number operation. And so if kids don't become able to mix and match, and sometimes this is one of the hardest things to get through on Quick Check Math is the ability to mix and match, because children who struggle prefer to memorize. And once they start mixing and matching, then they cannot memorize. Between the variety of the tracks, 1 through 9, and the variety of the math operations, children acquire the flexibility and the fluency to learn and remember math. Okay? Okay, so those are the key messages we have, and you'll see add to and number before, and as you go on, you'll see there's different combinations of mix and match. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to the original presentation here, and we'll finish it up. Oh, did I do the wrong thing? Oh. I think this one. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We're good. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I think so. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay, great. Perfect. All right, so here we have that daily practice page. So the children have to write with their blue pen, check their work with their red pen, and color in the stars for each goal that they complete. And so you can see that every day they're going to get 1 or 2 stars. And the difference between getting 1 or 2 stars for doing something right and getting 1 or 2 X's for getting a little bit wrong is huge. And that's why I pointed out, you can hear in that boy's voice the confidence that he had when he was checking his work, how good he felt. And I see kids in my office that they have to check the matching answers. And I don't say the correct answer. I say check the matching answer. And they go 2, check, 5, check. And you can hear the confidence in their voice. And that's what creates their willingness to do this, their ability to take the initiative, to skip and keep going, to choose challenge, and in the end, to improve in math.
That's an important point.
Yep.
Because we're really focusing, you're showing the child to focus on what they did right versus what they did wrong, which is usually the case. Where in school, we're always, they're always conditioned to think, what you did wrong, how many did you get wrong? And now you're focusing on what they did right. And that's changes, that change in their attitude, that change in perspective of how they see themselves is really important.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so we went to the software, and now we're going to go back to just to review the key concepts. That NeuroNet is a new way to look at learning, permanent progress, measurable progress, and meaningful progress. Permanent progress is like the bike riding effect. The day you get it, you've got it for life. Unless you have some kind of brain injury, you can ride a bike forever. Learn and remember. Measurable progress, speed plus accuracy equals fluency. Meaningful progress. Meaningful progress means change in the quality of your life. And that requires changes in learning behavior. Sustained effort, learn from your mistakes, take initiative, choose challenge. So learning behaviors that you're practicing when you're doing quick check math are starting on time. Anticipation changes, literally, anticipation changes your brain. It makes you ready to learn and remember. And that's permanent progress. Skip and keep going. When you can recover from your mistakes, then you can start to learn from your mistakes. Sustained effort. That's why we have end in the last box as one of the goals, to encourage kids to make a sustained effort, not to give up. And self-evaluation. We have them check their work so that they get in the habit of knowing what they have done right. And they feel like they can do things right. So if you want to try it, you can go to stepuptolearn.com and sign up for a free trial. It works on your iPad. You're going to have the audio track, the program levels, the daily practice days, answer keys for each daily practice day, and you can add your own movement warm-up. You can sign up at stepuptolearn.com, and if you need help, send us an email, help@stepuptolearn.com. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure, and I want to say a special thank you to all of the parents and the children from my office who have been my teachers in developing a program that works for them, and to Sergio for coming to be my partner in learning today. Thank you. And if there are any questions, I'm here and I'd be happy to hear from you. Jonathan?
So one question, how does adaptive scoring work?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. Adaptive scoring, and it's my fault, I should have put that into the program. Adaptive scoring means when a child starts something new, you could see that I went through the list of new things the child was going to start. When he starts something new, then if he gets everything right on the first try, adaptive scoring will automatically skip him to the next change in the program. And so turning on adaptive scoring means that a child does not have to do every exercise in the program, but the program will skip him for the things that it already determines are too easy.
Okay.
Are
there other questions? Feel free to chat them in using the chat function. Sergio, have you used the adaptive scoring at all, or have you been going mostly in order?
I've done it manually since I'm one-on-one with them as we're going through it. I've been doing it manually. Mm-hmm. I watch what how they're doing it, what their progress is, and when I feel something is already too easy for them, we move on.
Cool. Yeah, we just built that function, so
great function.
We're very keen to have more users. Hopefully, getting to the point where they're mastering the content and can skip ahead.
I have a funny story about the little boy that you saw that was struggling with the next number on the evaluation. He did one of the exercises and he was working with his grandmother, and his grandmother said, "Oh, that was really too easy for you. Maybe we should just skip to day 5." And he said, No, Grandma, the program did not tell us to skip. We have to do it in order." And I talked to Grandma later on, and we both agreed that the value of skipping in building the child's confidence was huge. So he was only going to get an extra, at most, 2 or 3 days at something that was easy for him. And the fact that the children can earn skip days, that can move up, they can move up as they really put that effort in. I think the adaptive scoring is a fabulous feature of the program because it really enables parents and teachers to let a child work individually through the program, and they can see what progress he's making.
Great. So another question comes from Jane, and her question is, how many seconds do you have to write the numbers? And then also, what numbers do you add or subtract up to?
Okay. The child has approximately 1 second to listen and then 1 second to write. And on this Quick Check Math program, we use only the numbers from 1 to 9. There is a higher level of the program, which goes to, as you saw in that one model, number sets from 1 to 26, and then 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and 75 to 100. And in those, we bring in other math operations like adding 10 and subtracting 2 and subtracting 3, depending on the number set. So, but it's a little bit more than 1 second to listen, a little bit more than 1 second to write.
Okay, great. All right. I don't see other questions from the audience. So
Okay. Then thank you very much for joining us today, and feel free to give it a try. And we have recorded this session, so you can also feel free to share that if you have colleagues who want to look at this webinar again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.